going on. So
This is official.
Okay, so I'm with Justin. He owns I can't say it properly, by the way. Autonomic coaching. I say automic, but because I get it. I can't autonomic coaching. And he is basically like a blood chemistry expert, extraordinary expert. Anyway, I got my blood test done. I did a full comprehensive blood test, right? This is Justin, by the way.
All right. Hi guys. Hey.
And then we got Ray in the corner over there. He's just on the phone to.
They stole my blood too.
He just got his blood too. Yeah. So anyway, I had my blood test done. Jackson's also in here, but we won't be showing him.
Well, you can if you want. Oh wait, team.
Yeah. He had an injury. He got attacked by a bear, so he's injured. He got punched in the face. So anyway, so I had my bloods done, and for no specific reason other than like I'm only getting older, number one, and it's always good to kind of check on your bloods, especially because I train. Full disclosure, I take growth hormone as well, which I don't. Oh my god! Which isn't necessarily bad, but obviously it does affect other hormones. I only take it because of like skin, hair, anti-aging, sleep. So I've always been curious about it, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna try it because I'm only getting older, and if I could look like 27 when I'm 40
until you're 50
until I'm 50, that would be good, because for women I find, look, men age beautifully, men age really well, but I find that women don't, and they'll get like a fuckload of fillers and Botox and stuff, and I don't want to start that process yet. So I got my bloods done, and then we're here with Justin, and he's not experienced on camera.
No, I'm definitely not.
Only on home adult movies he's experienced on.
He's like a really.
How did that get out? Really?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So Justin's gonna actually go through my blood work. So we had a phone call the other day, and I was actually very happy with the outcome. I don't feel like I'm in bad health. I don't even feel like I'm in bad health, but there's always room for improvement.
You're lucky, mate.
Oh, you were fucked?
Mine was horrendous. I looked like the back of an ancient Toyota Corolla, and it was horrible.
Shit. So, well, there you go. We've got one extreme to another. And I've also got my mum on board, which Lisa isn't with us right now because she's in the UK, but I'm really excited because my mum's got a few, she's postmenopausal, and she's got a few issues here and there. Like, the doctors in the UK are like, her calcium's really high, and the doctors in the UK are like, oh, it's just because it is. No, it's not just because it is, you fucking idiot. There is reason. So I'm excited that my mum is finally working with a professional, and you know, mothers are extremely precious, so we have to keep them alive for as long as possible. So I'm really excited to see my mum. Anyway, enough of my talking. Let's find out what's been going on.
Yeah, so
Under the hood.
it's always so weird speaking to camera about these sort of things.
You can speak to me, you can speak to the camera, it's like...
Yeah, so I think when we first met up, it was about the background of you having started the growth hormone.
Yeah.
There were underlying symptoms you were starting to experience with the hair. You were hoping to preserve the thickening of your hair.
Yeah.
With the fatigue that was starting to set in prior to that. With the mood swings that were happening as well.
Oh yeah, on my period. So, that's it. Yeah. Everyone around me should vanish because it's like a witch comes out.
Yeah, so it's not normal, by the way.
Common, but not normal, right?
It's common, but it shouldn't happen.
To that extent, in any case, yeah.
Yeah, like bipolar, like as in, I'm a totally different person.
Boom, boom.
Yeah. It's mad.
Yeah, so after having all these symptoms, it's just an imbalance of how well the body can actually receive a signal and to be able to use that signal to produce the right balance of hormones in the body.
Yeah.
And this comes down to other factors that can be compromised as well, apart from mood.
Oh, wait.
Had a visitor?
So other things that can be compromised apart from mood, and those things being your perception and how well your brain is able to perceive where your body is in space and time.
Yeah.
But very importantly, how well your body is able to utilize energy. So often when we have an imbalance that goes on through either exogenous hormone use or from an endogenous hormonal compromise in terms of.
And so, can you explain what exogenous and endogenous?
Sure. Yeah. So
they know.
yeah, of course. So sorry. So exogenous means from attaining something from without the body or outside of the body.
Like an injection, so you're taking it from that point inward.
So like steroids.
Yeah. So, and then endogenous is basically the process where the body actually produces the hormone within itself. So when you're taking hormone replacement or any type of hormone that comes from out the body, that's exogenous.
Can't deal with you.
You can't deal with me.
Sorry, like Tony Huge here, busting us. Sorry.
Lighten it, you know. Anyway, yeah. So, all right.
So just what we initially spoke about, I think that one of the things that came up in conversation was the lapse of memory recall that you were starting to experience.
Yeah.
Short-term memory. And we even had a joke about that, saying
T3 moment.
A T3 moment.
Yeah.
So for those of you who aren't very well aware of the actions that hormones have apart from growing muscle, thyroid hormone plays a huge role in the front temporal lobe and how well it can communicate with certain segments within the brain about memory recall itself, and as well as emotional valence as to how well a person can express and control the balance within the person's emotions. Utilizing exogenous hormones that are derived from outside of the body, growth hormone can actually deplete the quantity of T3.
Yeah.
Because both hormones, thyroid hormone as well as growth hormones, produce and release, well not produce, the signal that produces these hormones is actually released from the pituitary gland. So in our bodies we have generally got three processes, the primary, the secondary, and then the final tertiary phase of hormonal signaling or messengers, and how the body actually creates and delivers them throughout the body itself. So growth hormone is fantastic for preserving telomere structures. It's great for regenerating hepatocytes, which are liver sites. So in particular, if you're having any toxic exposure, it really helps with that.
Oh, really?
It's one of the few hormones that actually helps the kidneys too.
Yeah, it heals everything.
Oh, does it actually?
It heals everything.
So like, if you're like drink alcohol and stuff, it will help you.
Well, that's why it helps your brain when you forget stuff too. So it's like literally the case. We get drunk because our brain physically is allergic to alcohol. We dehydrate our brain. That's why we get drunk.
Is that really? That's me every weekend. What the fuck?
Like, for instance, your T3 thing, Justin stuck me on 12.5 milligram. Like, especially in this setting, you don't really think about how little is required from the stuff that's actually meant to be pharmaceutical use. Like we bust ourselves full of like 6 to 8 IUs of GH.
Right, yeah.
Meanwhile, we're busy depleting this. Whereas at a small dose, the likelihood to deplete that level that's causing that brain fog wouldn't happen.
Yeah. No, I mean,
you know what I mean?
And the thing is before you take anything, like, it's just kind of people that we spoke to on the gym floor, like, it's sick, just take it.
Take two, just take two.
Yeah,
Go away,
and
take two.
all these kind of doctors. Doctors, and they, they're like, your hormones are perfect. I actually can't do that. I shouldn't do the accent because people have been watching this. I could get in trouble. But yeah, there's basically doctors out there that will be like, no, it's fine, you can take it, and they don't actually tell you this side. You know that. I mean, I'm on a very small dose. I'm only on 2 IU, and I haven't. There'd be sometimes I'll get brain fogginess, and sometimes when you go upstairs, you're like, what did we come upstairs for? Like, and you just. Sit upstairs, like what?
Same exactly.
And then you go back downstairs and you're like trying to retrace your tracks, like why did I go upstairs? And you're like, oh yeah, I remember. So that was definitely happening more frequently.
Has he started on the T3 yet?
No. I don't know if we're going to be doing T3.
No, we're not.
My thyroid wasn't affected, luckily. Maybe that could just be classic blonde moment.
No, it's not.
That's also a gene.
No, it's not.
I'm joking.
No, actually, to be fair, one of the things that any hormone does, is if you think about a hormone like a foreman on a construction site.
Yeah.
So the foreman will tell the workers exactly where to place the bricks and to put the cables and the beams. But if that foreman is screaming at a set of workers to do one job and the other set of workers aren't keeping up, what happens is that building collapses.
Nice, okay.
So, because you've had a lot of growth hormone, but your female sex hormones haven't been balanced to be able to cope with the other segments of the bodily functions.
Right.
You've been rapidly depleting certain nutrients like thiamine. Vitamin D was thiamine and folate. Those are the two that were showing to be depleted and deficient, and both of them are really required for mitochondrial activity.
Right.
And this is another reason as to why throughout the blood chemistry analysis we saw that you had hyperlipidemia, which basically means hyper, excessive, lipids, fat. So you have excessive fat in the bloodstream, not in the body, not in the tissues, because you're in good shape. You're in good shape.
I've got fat organs.
No, you don't actually. No. Right? Fortunately enough, you don't. You actually, contrary to like the drinking habits and having a good time, especially in your 20s, which is what you should do. Your liver is perfectly in good health. Your liver's in a really good health.
I'm so surprised. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, but I drink for 14 hours straight, and I do not stop until it's like they take me out of the club, like go home.
Because you're English.
It is, right?
Yeah, it's English thing.
Called genetic adaptation.
Is there a genetic? Yeah, because I swear it's a British thing. Like I can drink like.
Your liver's got a cover, man.
Right?
Irish or English?
English, like fully
Okay.
British.
So you would have had even better genetic tolerance.
If I was
If you're
Irish,
Irish,
yeah.
you could throw a better punch as well.
Amazing. But no, I'm surprised. But then at the same time, I don't drink like every single day. When I do those like all-in-one benders, it's usually maybe once a month, maybe twice a month.
Just a hard night, yeah.
It is, yeah. It's like from 11 in the morning until like 3 in the morning.
I think living in the city, you need that blowout in some way, shape, or form.
You've been going pretty well, though.
Yeah, so I never used to. You remember I would never used to recover. Like I would used to get really fucking depressed actually. But then when I sorted out my gut health a few years ago, maybe 2016, 2017, I started to feel a lot better. So now it takes me a day. Like I don't feel anything the next day. Sometimes I do. Actually, the last time I did a full bender, I actually started throwing up the next day. But I think it's because I drank for like 16 hours.
Oh, yeah.
And I mixed drinks. Like it was too much. So.
Yes. 16 hours experience.
One of the best things you can
Variety
do
is the spice of life.
is actually take NAD.
What's NAD?
NAD is a nucleotide. It's a nucleotide that's utilized in almost every mitochondrial process throughout the body. But why it's so amazing, it instigates the release of growth factors, regenerative growth factors.
Right.
That particularly is useful for the brain. So
Nice.
when you consume a lot of alcohol, there's certain byproducts that are produced from alcohol. Formaldehyde is one of them. So stuff that embalms bodies. The body actually produces that as a toxin.
What one?
Formaldehyde.
What's that?
You
What
know,
is
you
it?
can embalm. You use to embalm bodies.
It's like ammonia, basically.
Yeah, it's a
Same.
toxin.
No way.
Yeah. So you can actually produce a lot of the toxins.
That's why you
it's
stink after drinking.
That's why it's terrible for the brain. It's absolutely terrible for the brain. It causes a lot of plaque buildup and like degeneration of neurons. But NAD is a fantastic nucleotide that actually helps to negate a lot of negative impacts.
Do you take that before or after drinking?
A little bit of before and after, to be honest with you. More so after, but a little bit before. More importantly, before you have drinking sessions, to take pyridoxine. So it's vitamin B6, but it's a pyridoxine 5-phosphate. So dependent on the methylating or the chelating agent or the amino acid that conjugated to those these agents will determine the biological availability of that nutrient for the body. So when you take vitamin B6 in its form of pyridoxine 5-phosphate, it is the most biologically available form of that vitamin. And prior to having a drinking session, why it works so well is because it helps to transaminate or convert amino acids to basically help one of the major pathways for alcohol detoxification, which is amino acid conjugation.
Tell me something, Justin.
Jesus,
Sorry to interrupt. No, I can testify to this 100% because when Justin met me and I was where I was ruined. Like I was take foggy and put that on steroids, like useless. I couldn't move. Long story short.
Yeah, see you guys.
Alright, see you in a bit.
The first protocol that Justin prescribed to me was that NAD, which helps. Like he gave it to me. Well, he told me to get it, and then I ran it for 10 days, just a little bit in the morning, along with an amino acid that was used. He'll give you the name soon, and I could visibly see the difference in my face and feel the difference in my brain. Like I had no clue what they were used for. I left them alone and research because I wasn't interested in the whole placebo thing, like you think this is going to help and then it will work. And also the B6, correct me if I'm wrong, when you drink, your serotonin gets drained, right? So B6 is a precursor for serotonin production. It builds.
It's one of the necessary catalysts that enables tryptophan metabolism.
100%. And me, after the 2016 Dubai Muscle Show, I was ruined. I can't produce serotonin on my own anymore. So when I don't take 5-HTP or since Justin's protocol with the B6, I go off it for a week and see what happens to you. I'm not even joking. Like, I am cold, empty. I could literally walk past a dead body and feel nothing. Like, I know I love my woman, but
Yeah.
I don't love my woman at that
No.
point. But it's not enough to go and seek something else with another woman because I don't feel that either.
Wow.
So I came off,
Wow.
I was like that a couple of days ago because I figured, oh well, I've been taking my B6 and my drips, you'll get around to that.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool, I don't need my 5-HTP anymore, there's an overproduction, I'm obviously producing my own serotonin. But you don't really notice how down-regulated that process is and how long it takes. It's not, wow, I feel better, cool, I'm fine, no, fucking carry on.
Well, there's a reason as to why Rem is also feeling the way he is, and it's apart from just having an inefficient availability of B6. It comes down to when we talk about steroid use, right? And I'm not against steroid use. I've obviously used steroids in my life at some point.
So next bodybuilder, everybody.
Yeah.
So this is why it's so amazing working with Justin, because especially for Larry, which he will be doing a video as well.
Walk a mile before you talk, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it's like Justin has done it and then he studied it and now he's like wants to make people, he doesn't want people to make the same mistakes. He doesn't tell people to not take steroids, he just says like there's ways around.
He wants to keep you jacked but stop you from dying.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Yeah, that's
Like,
perfect. And obviously I'm not someone that's gonna go and take Tren.
Never again.
Never again. No, I'm joking. Not for me. I've never taken anything androgenic. Is that what it is?
Correct.
I've never taken anything androgenic because I'm actually too scared of fucking up my fertility. And also, I've watched girls take even the smallest amount of Anavar, and then that's it. That's it. Their body composition has changed. They become boxy. They get these massive quads. No
They
tits.
sound like Barry White.
Yeah, it sounds like Barry White. So I'm just not for that. But people who are out there doing it, I don't judge. Like, if girls want to go and take it, it's their prerogative. But this also will help to like shed some light.
Stay healthy but get jacked.
Yeah.
Simple.
Well, I know that my journey started out when I really started to immerse myself into biochemistry.
Yeah.
I studied it for many years, but I came out of a place of going through a lot of dark night of the soul. That I think a lot of guys, people refer to it that way. Having competed, qualified for the Arnold Classic Africa in 2018. About 2 months later after that, things have started going wrong.
Oh, really?
Subsequently, 6 months later, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, which I still have.
Yeah.
And I contend with it on a daily basis. So a lot of it came around from utilizing steroids on an ongoing basis for long periods of time.
Right.
And also a little bit of a hedonistic lifestyle in my 20s, you know.
Like me?
Chippy Charlie.
So, and just if I can, be a catalyst to people not able to go through that, then it's all the worthwhile.
Definitely, yeah.
So this is what I was saying before with Raymond. When you utilize huge amounts of testosterone, let alone all the other different analogs.
And I was playing moderate, by the way. Like, that still fucked me up.
What?
Like, my dosages of my gear
really?
moderate, but it was just over 6 years, not constantly, but on and off, but not monitoring the way that a person should. Even then, it's Russian roulette. You can't. Everyone that tells you, listen, I know what I'm doing, I'll be fine. Fuck off.
Yeah.
You're putting something in your body. You don't know the reaction. You don't know the
Well, I know
interactions.
this to be true because the general consensus going around the gym for HRT, that acronym is thrown around so often, is so far from actual medical HRT. It's not even funny. So most people say, this is the common rhetoric that kids have thrown around in conversation.
Right.
I only take a milliliter a week
Which is
of
250
testosterone and anthate. And a milliliter of testosterone and anthate is 250 milligrams. Now, to put it into context, the human body at the age of 21 in the man's body produces 18 milligrams per day at max, at the most healthiest point. Times 18 by 7, you're not going to get 250.
It's like 125 max. That's all you need if you're going to be doing hormone therapy. And the guys are busting 250. I know some guys that are busting 500 milligrams a week for hormone replacement therapy.
And what that does neurologically, and just remember, everything stems, in my opinion, everything stems from the brain.
Yeah.
So as soon as you cause an imbalance to happen in neurotransmitters in the brain, neurotransmitters in essence are catalysts to other hormones being released. And like I said to you before, hormones are messengers. So if those messengers can't reach their final destination in the way in which they should, organs don't function properly, cells don't function properly.
So you've been like
Wrecked. I was walking at Mall of the Emirates carrying a bunch of eggs, okay?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I just let go, like a spastic. I just let go. I walk with my keys on me walking and I'm like, I'm not even joking. We just go flying.
But how long have you been?
I've been contending with this for 3 years, but it got to its apex, just before I met Justin.
Right.
And I met him by coincidence. I don't believe it's coincidence, it's providence, it's God sent. But the thing is
He's very kind.
I mean it. No, I mean it. I don't shoot shit at all. The thing is now, literally, I was walking, and like, I mean, I would fall asleep like this, and I'd move my arm, and like, I'd be like stuck, couldn't move. I had to straighten it myself, and then reaching for the ketchup on the table. It's like,
But what was that? Because
it was gone.
So one of the biggest things that happens.
Excitation.
Yeah, one thing biggest things that happen when you take super physiological, okay, except above and beyond the normal levels the body should have, hormones, is that methylation rates start to become impaired.
Right.
So methylation is required for multiple purposes in the body, from detoxification to actually activating certain neurotransmitters like dopamine or serotonin.
Right.
So the reason why people feel so good when they haven't taken hormones for a long period of time, so if you go to the gym and the guys are off cycle, they look depressed and hung down, is because they're not just because the testosterone levels are low, which is what people equate it to.
Oh.
It's actually because with lower testosterone, must remember there are also testosterone receptors in the brain for men and for women.
Right. Okay.
So that's why, like, most of our patients that are older, female patients older, come to us. Sometimes we indicate for them to use a testosterone-based bioidentical hormone cream.
My mum's gonna go on trend.
Yeah, not trend. Not trend.
I'm joking.
Not trend. But it's because it's necessary for the brain, the receptors in the brain. In essence, what happens is at the rate of methylation for dopamine, being excitatory, and it's a reward system that gives us, right? Gives us that drive, like, want to do more. When you have a huge amount of testosterone coming into the body, the methylation rate of dopamine accelerates.
Right.
That's why you feel good. That's why you feel unstoppable. That's why you feel godlike. Come to the gym and you lift excessive amounts of weights.
So testosterone actually releases dopamine as well.
Not directly, but it has its impact on accelerating the methylation of tyrosine for the purpose of producing extra or super physiological amounts of testosterone.
Right.
Now, couple that with a lot of the pre-workout concoctions that are on within the fitness industry, you are literally heading for a recipe of disaster.
Overstimulus.
So that's why people walk around, like, when they're taking steroids, especially like females as well. That's why they walk around very
alpha within their mind, yeah.
Yeah, they're like very confident, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Extremely assertive, overly confident. And I say overly confident because you literally are setting yourself up for injuries left, right, and center.
Do you know how many aches and pains I've got now? Because I've come off properly for the first time in what must be 3 years. Like, and when I say come off properly, I mean literally I was taught now to do 25 milligrams of test P, like a very short release, very small dose, every third or fourth day, however I'm feeling. Been made very in tune with my body, thank God. That's one of the good things that comes from that. Literally everything hurts from the previous abuse that I did to my body, because the gear buffers you. It buffers you. It heals you faster. It's like a plaster effect. It's not really like something that heals you. It plasters. It covers. That's why guys have sore joints. They're like, oh bro, it's cool. Just shoot a mil of Deca, you'll be fine. Yeah, then they feel great. Then they're pumping out 60 kilos on the chest. When they come off cycle, they look like a tub of spaghetti. They're useless. They're like a dildo and like a penis in a lesbian bar. You can't use it. Like,
Okay, penis in a lesbian.
No, but I mean, honestly, like, I was worried, for instance, like yesterday was my birthday, and I'm like, it's just, thank you. I'm fucking old now.
How old are you?
He's not old.
He shall not be named. No, I'm 29.
He's not old.
He's 29. Yeah, so I was gonna
die. 2 years away.
Take care of your life. So yeah, I was worried. I was worried between you guys. I was worried last night because
between the camera.
Yeah, between the camera. Yeah, that's fine.
Between us lot, by the way. 90,000 people.
It was my birthday yesterday.
Oh my gosh. I'm about to get it from the camera. Now you're telling me 90,000 people watching this.
So the missus planned a beautiful sort of birthday performance for me and everything.
Right.
I was like sitting there, oh fuck, what if my shit doesn't work? All the abuse that I've done, blah blah blah. And then I realized that literally we've taken a step back, healed me, I'm fine. So these guys are scared to come off, not because of their fucking muscles. No. They're scared to come off because of their junk. Literally. It's a vicious cycle. Oh, my junk doesn't work, let me get on. Oh, let me get off. Oh, now my muscles don't work. Oh, that's a vicious cycle. So nobody comes off.
So if I can give you a little bit of a 101, what happens when you use steroids, and it comes down to the adrenals and comes down to cholesterol metabolism. So the adrenals require cholesterol in order to produce pregnenolone, and then pregnenolone is a mother hormone. In other words, it gets donated throughout the body for other hormones to be produced, from DHEA to cortisol to estrogen, progesterone, even testosterone. Now, when you use exogenous amounts of testosterone or steroids for any steroid for the most part, what's going to happen is your liver is not going to produce as much cholesterol as it should, or it's not going to redirect the cholesterol that's in your periphery back to the liver for the generation of pregnenolone.
Right.
So what this does is, once it does, firstly, it doesn't supply the body with its own endogenously produced amounts of testosterone, but also subsequently lowers the ability for the body to be able to create DHEA and cortisol.
Right.
Okay. Now this may happen after 10 years, this might happen after a year, it might happen after one cycle,
steroid
or
use.
20 cycles.
Russian roulette, man.
But what happens is when your cortisol production, everyone always thinks cortisol is a bad thing, right? Especially if it's, let's just reduce your cortisol. No, you don't want to do that.
Cortisol is good, right?
It is vitally important for your immune system. Without cortisol, leukocyte, which is white blood cell activity, cannot be modulated and cannot be mediated in order to have the right response in the right time, depending on the influence of bacteria or viruses that come into the body. Now, taking steroids for a long period of time, the adrenal glands aren't necessarily getting their raw material that they need, because cholesterol synthesis and metabolism, not just synthesis, but metabolism becomes impaired when you take exogenous amounts of testosterone. And this is even as little of a dose as 250 milligrams of testosterone a week. Okay, so even when you go on HRT, which I have to do now for the rest of my life because I use so much amounts of.
Oh, you both have to.
No, pretty much.
Oh, so that's it. Like, because once you start, you can't really come off, right?
The thing is, you could.
But what about kids?
Your fertility can be reestablished because it's the Sertoli cells in the testes that actually produce sperm.
Right.
So there's a way in which you can still reinvigorate them to a certain point. But to be honest with you, it takes a lot of subsequent therapies and interventions to enable that. But like you said, Providence.
Yeah, no, dude, I could take a bucket of my baby gravy and like
baby gravy. He means semen.
And literally throw it on my missus. Like there would be more chance of me falling pregnant than her. Like literally.
Fuck.
My FSH and
just your
TSH.
FSH has more of a role to stimulate the Sertoli cells.
Non-existent. It's off.
But can you get tested to see how fertile?
Well, after fixing and doing the necessary work, that's where Justin comes in handy with his protocols.
Yeah.
This guy stuck me on an IV drip before even looking at my bloods.
Right.
In terms of what he looked at the symptoms, he analyzed it, just cross-referenced me, stuck me on the right stuff. Literally one drip in, I was like feeling so much bloody better.
Yeah. You did the same with Larry actually. He's like, do I really need to have all these drips? And I was like,
it's essential. I did 5.
Yeah, we got given 5.
Yeah. So Larry's to go a slightly different concoction as to what I've given Ray, but it's for the purposes to help reduce the CK levels. And Ray also had different reasons as to why.
What's CK?
Creatine kinase is basically a metabolite that gets released on excessive breakdown of muscle tissue,
produced in the liver, the muscles, and the brain.
So it's and it really compromises cardiovascular function, which also hampens the brain activity of blood flow to the brain.
Oh wow.
So heightened levels of CK can come around from not just from working out, because that's initially what would instigate it in a normal, balanced, natural hormonal profile is when you have a physical strain. But when you're taking super physiological amounts of exogenous hormones, the body tries to regulate itself back to a norm that it can actually handle. Because when we're handling on a full throttle perspective, the body doesn't actually know how to contend with it. It can do it for a while, and then slowly but surely things start to deteriorate.
So what did you end up feeling?
I felt myself busy physically becoming less and less. Nicole, I was on 4,500 calories, 4,500 calories. I was losing weight. And it's not because of anything. I was getting leaner. At first I was like, wow. But now that I think about it, 4,500 calories. And this is without any gastric disturbance. I don't have diarrhea. I don't have any issues. But my body just basically said, fuck, I don't have the minerals. I don't have the ability to process all of this and feed you well. I'm sorry. Keep eating. It's fine. I felt healthy. But then I started feeling progressively worse and worse. Started falling through my ass. I started getting leaner and leaner and leaner. 4.5k calories. I weigh 88 kilos. Well, I was 88. I'm 83 now.
Right.
After all the inflammation left me and all the poisons and toxins, which is still undergoing, by the way, and it will be for the next 6 months.
Wow.
So if you think about that response within your body, and the thing is creatine kinase, did you know that even just inserting a needle into your muscle raises it?
No way.
It raises that level. It's trauma.
Fuck.
So these guys that are jabbing themselves like 5-6 times a week because it helps with the hormone to be balanced. No, It's even worse.
It's crazy coming from someone as well, like who was doing.
Mate.
You just said 6 years you were doing it, and now you're like, fuck.
For me, it was clenbuterol. I was working at Gold's. You've used pen before, haven't you?
No, I haven't.
Never?
I've tried it. Like I've
Shaky.
I've tried it because I like drugs.
Don't we all? I don't like the drugs, but the drugs like me.
Yeah, so I tried it because everyone's like, it makes you feel like you're high. I'm
was
like,
on it for-
great! So I tried it, and I'm in the gym, and I'm like, what's going on?
You went novelty. Yes.
So Ray's actually going to be leaving us now because he's going to go
Let's
train
make proceed. We'll do bigger ones in the future. It'll be like,
we've got to arrange it, right?
that's fun. It is fun. Take it easy.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Ray.
Follow Ray on Insta.
Yes.
So you can follow Ray's journey.
Talk about drugs too. Bye.
About drugs. Drugs. Okay, so I'm going to be actually, I'll be making two videos. So now we're actually going to go on to my hormones, but this one that we've just done, I think it's very informative. So I will be making this one into a separate video. So please like and subscribe, follow everyone on Instagram. Larry is arriving now, but we're going to go through my bloods and I can't, oh, Adam's arriving because he's back in camera because his camera is dead in the car.
How are you doing?
See you in the next one.
Justin.